I saw The Last Jedi twice so far, and in my opinion, it was an excellent Star Wars movie. So far, it's the only worthy non-George Lucas Star Wars movie. Okay. There's a lot of controversy regarding the Princess Leia scene in space. Now, from my opinion, from where I'm coming from, I was 3 years old when the original Star Wars came out in 1977, and I was 6 when The Empire Strikes Back came out. And I remember lining up around the block to see it. And I was 9 when Return of the Jedi came out. So I basically grew up with Star Wars. And after Return of the Jedi came out, basically I was like the tail end of that generation of Star Wars fans. We are all transfixed by it. And after Return of the Jedi came out, there was no internet, but still, there was a rumor floating around that there was going to be another trilogy. Episodes 7, 8, and 9. And they were going to be revolving around Princess Leia training to be a Jedi. So everybody always had that promise floating around from 9 years old to freaking 20-something years old that there would be another trilogy and Princess Leia would be the protagonist as Jedi. So seeing that scene, and it never happened, obviously, and we lived our whole lives waiting for that, and eventually we got the prequels. Well, but anyway, the deal is, seeing that scene with Princess Leia using the Force in space is like, that's an over 34-year-old promise finally paying off, coming true. So, to me, that was the biggest draw to see that movie. I mean, it was very good. Because, see, the first time I saw it, The Last Jedi in the movies, my cab driver was an idiot. And I told him to not take the Midtown Tunnel. And told him to take the 59th Street Bridge to go to Manhattan to go see it. And like an idiot, he actually went to try to take the Midtown Tunnel as a shortcut. Which ended up being a 34-minute delay. Which made me miss 34 minutes of the movie. Which means I missed that whole Princess Leia scene the first time seeing it. So I went back and saw it again, a few days later, and saw that scene. And that was worth the price of admission alone. Even without that, the movie was great. But seeing that scene, knowing that scene was in the movie, when I recapped what I missed off internet, seeing what I missed out of the movie when I came in there late, seeing that, I was like, dude, I have to go back to the movie theater to see that. I have to go see Princess Leia use the Force in an actual Star Wars movie after over 34 years. 30 goddamn something years. Waiting to see Princess Leia as a, God rest her soul. And also, you always had those little, I guess, mourning pains seeing Princess Leia in a movie, knowing that she passed away. And it's so heartbreaking that she passed away before her time. So I had that level of reverence to the movie also. After seeing at Star Wars Celebration 2017 that even Harrison Ford, knowing that Harrison Ford is so over Star Wars and wants nothing to do with it anymore, that Harrison Ford actually came to Star Wars Celebration 2017 out of respect to Carrie Fisher's passing. I mean, that is a very cool, classy move, knowing that Harrison Ford usually just rolls his eyes if you ever mention Star Wars to him in an interview. So that was very good of him. That's a cool thing to pay a tribute to his old co-worker. And George Lucas also went to Star Wars Celebration. He never shows his Star Wars Celebrations anymore. And also, John Williams also went to Star Wars Celebration. Out of respect to Carrie Fisher, it was a good send-off and a tribute. And he actually performed Princess Leia's theme with the Orlando Philharmonic Orchestra as a touching, moving tribute to Princess Leia. So it wasn't really a celebration, but in a lot of ways it was like a tribute. I'd say a tribute, a memorial to Princess Leia. I wouldn't call it a funeral, but in a kind of way for us people who were fans and never obviously weren't invited to her funeral, to say goodbye to her at that Star Wars Celebration 2017. That was really sad, and I often don't. I'm not a real starstruck person, but to Carrie Fisher's mind, she was never thought of herself as really being famous because she didn't do anything really big besides Star Wars, but that was really big to a lot of people, to a whole generation of people, that she was in Star Wars, and to everybody else that was Star Wars fans, she was a superstar. So, I mean, I guess she came to terms with it at one point of her life, and embraced it. But to us, we never had any doubt whether she was a superstar or not. So, yeah, that was a great thing at Star Wars Celebration. Carrie Fisher, got her recognition and got her due. And Mark Hamill did a nice story, telling about a lot of anecdotes of his time with her and the way he knew her, as paying respect to her also, to Carrie Fisher. So that was great. So when I saw this movie, I always had that in the back of my mind, knowing this is the last Star Wars movie we'll see Carrie Fisher in. That being said, the movie all itself was very good. It was shot very well. Even prior to her getting blasted into space, those little scenes, those little cuts of Kylo Ren kind of sensing Princess Leia in the Force, and her sensing him out there in space attacking her ship, and then he had that change of heart and he couldn't bring himself to shoot at her, to fire on her ship to kill her. It was a very good scene. It was very reminiscent of The Empire Strikes Back, when Luke's in his ship escaping away from Cloud City and Vader sensing him and calling out to him in the Force, and they cut back to Luke, and Luke senses, oh crap, it's Vader, he's sensing me. It's very good. It's very reminiscent of the George Lucas movies, and I thought it was excellent. Little cuts like that, those little touches like that matter. Okay, it was an excellent movie. And even at the end, when they had Luke sensing Leia and Leia sensing Luke, knowing, oh man, he's passing away, he's gone. That was excellent. So they did a good job, and they did a good job with the whole psychic rapport between Rey and Ben Solo. That was also done very well and very reminiscent of Star Wars. So, of all the directors so far, out of Gareth Edwards and freaking idiot Jar Jar Abrams, it looks like Rian Johnson really got Star Wars the most out of these new directors, out of more than anybody so far. And this is the closest I've seen of a movie, Star Wars, in theory and in actual practice and actual directing and shots, and even the script, that's close enough to Star Wars. Because even when they could have glossed over the Force, and with Luke Skywalker describing the Force to Rey, he went in depth and describing it in the most terms you would hear, the most close terms you would hear somebody like Alec Guinness would describe the Force to, say, Luke in the 1977 Star Wars. It didn't gloss over it and just speed run it or dumb it down for dummies. It went, as close as possible as he could to George Lucas' original idea of the whole thing. So it was a good movie, and it was excellent. And I thought it was a nice touch that it didn't go the way everybody expected it to. And the internet pundits and the internet nerds, they always want to think they can predict everything and tell you exactly how the plot's going to go based on what they've seen so far. And if you have a plot that's so thin that any idiot on their couch can just figure out what's going to be posted on the internet, it's not a good plot. If you're that predictable, that's why I love Twin Peaks. Nobody, no matter how many internet theorists, could ever predict what happened in Twin Peaks: The Return. It was on Showtime because it's such an original plot. It's somebody's original thought and is trying to be original, and it never goes the same way you think it would go. It doesn't go by tropes. It doesn't go by cliches, and try to be something original and new and innovative. And that's what The Last Jedi was in every way. Even the fight between Kylo Ren and Luke, it was just a distraction. And Luke knew this is a wise person. You can't take on a whole army with a lightsaber, so why try? The best he would have served as is a distraction and a delay. Why even throw your life away that meaninglessly? Just going that it's not going to accomplish anything. You would get in and not be able to get out. So it was better that he did it that way, and this just distracted Kylo with his force projection. And there's the logistics of how fast would he even get there if he tried to fly over there. His freaking, his X-wing was submerged in the ocean for how many years? I don't think that thing could even start. So yeah, it made sense that he just projected himself through the force. Everybody's saying, "Oh, why didn't he just fucking go?" He would have lasted way less time going there physically and getting shot by about 40 AT-ATs. Okay, yeah, that would be a quick diversion. That went over very fast. It's much smarter for him to go send his force projection. So that was a good touch. So anyway, it was an excellent movie. Rian Johnson's a great director. I like Looper, and I would even watch more of his films to get a feel for his directing style. And even some of the new characters, which some people hate, like that girl Rose. I thought she was good, and she worked well with Finn, and it added that feel of Star Wars. That adventure, that youthful adventure. And they're on an adventure or whatever, and they went from this planet to that planet, and came back, and they came full circle, and she actually tried to sacrifice her life to save Finn. So that was a good touch. It's a payoff for a character for all whatever you thought about a character going through it. She had a payoff. She stuck the landing in the end. Okay, so anyway, it was a good movie. I liked it. And here's the deal: you want to complain about this movie so damn much. A lot of these people, look, this is the deal for you. I hate to break it to you, but this is probably as good as it's going to get, okay? Because as long as they go on with all these sequels and all these sequels, they're going to keep cranking out year in, year out. That's Disney's plan. The quality is going to dip and go down, and they keep trying to make all these movies so fast. And there's going to be some horrible ones. Like, Netflix doing all these Marvel series. Eventually, you get an Iron Fist, okay? You keep cranking them out this quickly. You're not going to be able to keep the quality up. You're going to get a shitty one like Iron Fist or the Inhumans. Okay, it's inevitable. And The Force Awakens was no freaking gift to God. So you can get something worse than that. And J.J. Abrams, freaking Jar Jar Abrams, got him a hack, is making the episode 9. Princess Leia is passed away, unfortunately. Carrie Fisher's passed away, so she can't even reprise her role. So whatever plot they had for it, if they even had one, is out the window to some degree. So I think episode 9 is going to be an absolute mess, and it's not going to be nowhere near as good as The Last Jedi. So yeah, hold on to your hats. You think you're mad about this? This is going to be the best movie so far out of the series. It's going to be kind of like Return of the Jedi. Empire Strikes Back was, the best out of the trilogy, original trilogy. So here we go. We'll see how it goes. I liked it. My reaction to the movie was an excellent movie, and is the most faithful to actual Star Wars of these old school original trilogy guys like me that I'm ever going to see in a movie theater. I liked it, and it didn't seem forced and ham-fisted and kind of hacky, just overly derivative and just trying to kind of capture that feeling of the original Star Wars and failing as, say, Rogue One was. I didn't like Rogue One. It tried to capture it a little bit, but it seemed fake and forced. This one seemed way more authentic, and it came off more organically and was a way better movie from beginning to end. So anyway, I liked it. So I'm just not going to review it. I'm not a damn film critic. Just a guy who likes his movies, like old school fan of Star Wars. And from my perspective, it was a worthy movie, and I liked it a lot. And I would actually buy the Blu-ray of this. I didn't even consider buying The Force Awakens Blu-ray, but I definitely didn't buy this. So anyway, it was a great movie in my opinion. Peace.